The collaboration conversation is brought to you by Project Brickworks, the new ministry dedicated to equipping Christians to use their gifts and talents to bring others into a relationship with King Jesus. Project Brickworks is a crowd-funded nonprofit ministry made possible by amazing, generous folks like you, and we are so grateful. We created the collaboration conversation as a way for Christians to share about their upcoming projects and how they are using the gifts and talents that God has given them. Our very special guest today is someone that I'm so excited to talk to. We've known each other for so long. Our families go way back. We have with us country music artist Mackenzie Wasner. Hi, Mackenzie. It is so wonderful to see you again. I feel like it's been like at least 5 years since I've seen your face.
I know. That's terrible.
Well, I think the last time I saw you was we did a music video, and you were in a music video with us. You jumped in a lake. You went four-wheeling, fully clothed. I totally remember that. It was so much fun. And you were such a good sport, as you always are. But it was just so much fun to see you and work with you in that capacity. It was great.
That was fun. Thanks for making me do it, because I would not have done that if it were not for you.
Well,
I really would not have.
It worked out great. The video was awesome, so we were very happy.
It was fun.
It was good.
Yeah, I was thinking, hopefully you had fun playing. I think you were the country artist's girlfriend.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was
great.
Really cute, and it was so sweet.
Yes.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Well, Mackenzie, you and I have seen each other more recently. We went to a meet and greet kind of a deal a couple of years ago. I mean, obviously, everything's pre-pandemic.
I know. Yeah, so. COVID doesn't count. We'll just,
yes.
That year does not count.
Doesn't count. It's a mulligan year.
But as Sarah said, our families go way back. I think you and Miles and Jesse started in kindergarten together and went maybe through middle school.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
I have so many memories. And then your husband was my 4th grade teacher, and he was my favorite teacher of all time. He would play, let's get it started in here every morning. And you just walk in and it was a good day because that was playing.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember you saying that. Well,
yes,
and your
it's like a core memory.
Yeah, and your mom is the best. And you already know that, but she and I sat at so many ball games. Just watching the boys play ball and Little League and all that. So
I know.
So yeah, it's great to reconnect. And I think that we'll always stay in contact over the years. It's just been that good friendship between our families.
Yeah.
But when we started this podcast, we were like, okay, we've got to talk to folks who are very talented, and God's using them with the gifts that He gave them. And obviously, you made that short list. So, we really wanted to just take a little while and just chat with you and see what's going on. And so I'll let you
So we know you obviously very well, but for our listeners who I doubt don't know you, but just in case, if they don't know who you are, will you just share a little bit about you and your family?
Yes. So my name is Mackenzie Wasner. I was born and raised in Franklin. I'm like a unicorn, as they like to call us these days, because, everybody moves to town to do music. And I seriously feel super blessed that I was born and raised and brought up in it,
Yeah.
I think, not that I take it for granted, but I think I used to be like, oh, it's just, normal. And it's not normal at all.
Right.
So that's a huge deal, because when you tell people you're born and raised here and grew up in that, they think it's the coolest thing ever.
Yes,
so now I think it's the coolest thing ever. I've grown to appreciate it more.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's so special.
Yeah.
Well,
and so it's always I've grown up in and around the music business, and so it's always been in the blood, and I thought after high school, I'm going to take this super seriously. I couldn't wait to start a career in music, and haven't stopped since. So
I know you haven't, and that's so cool. Didn't you just recently get married?
I did. Gosh, 3.5 years ago now.
So not that recently, but kind of recently.
But you did. Congratulations.
It's not as recent as me, and that's fine. But I remember seeing your picture, and your dress was Haley Page.
Yes.
I mean, that was one of the most beautiful dresses. Literally, I don't know if you remember, but I saw the picture. I was like, I know who designed that dress. I was like, it was so beautiful. You were such a beautiful bride. So I know I'm 3.5 years late, but congratulations again.
Oh, thank you. It still feels like yesterday, honestly.
Oh, really?
I still feel 16 all the time. Too, so I'm married, and how do I have a house? And
well, but you also have another member of your family that at least you guys show pictures of on your Facebook page. What's your puppy?
Our dog?
Yeah. What's your dog's name?
Hatcher.
Yeah.
So sweet.
He's a cutie.
That's a big dog.
What kind of dog is it?
Yeah, he's a sheepadoodle, so an Old English sheepdog and a poodle.
Cute.
Yeah.
The cutest.
Yeah. He's only 70 pounds. He was supposed to be 100, and my husband's a little disappointed. But I'm like, I feel like if he was any bigger,
it would be dangerous.
We could not keep him.
Yeah.
Well, and you're a twin?
I am a twin with Miles.
That's so sweet.
I know people think twins are like cool always.
Oh, always. It's a fact. They don't just think it. Twins are cool.
And is he back in the area now? I know he was gone for a little while.
He is. Yeah, they live in Columbia actually, so not too far. And yeah, he works for like an elevator company, and he was in the Army for 5 years. So he just got back probably a year and a half ago.
Nice.
And, yeah, he's settling in, got a great job. And
great. Well, okay, so you were talking to us about, you mentioned that when you were in high school and you decided once you were done with high school, you really wanted to take this seriously. But I want to go back even, maybe a little bit farther and just have you tell us a little bit about your journey as a musician and just about who you are as an artist. I would really love for our listeners to get to know you and who you are.
Well, yeah. And like, when did you first start singing?
Yeah, all of that. Yeah.
No, well, I've known you all since kindergarten. And I remember my first gig was singing the ABCs for our class.
Oh.
And my dad is a musician, keyboard player and stuff. And he came in and brought the little keyboard and played along. And I sang the ABCs. And so I guess I always say that was my first
true gig. Yeah. Yes, I love it.
But I just always have sang since I was little. Always started to sing, and then not learned how to sing. Obviously, I mean this sincerely. I've always said, it's God's voice. It's obviously a gift, and I can whatever carry a tune somewhat.
Right.
But he gets all the credit really, because it is just something that comes naturally, and I naturally love it. And it's always been kind of easier than most things, which do not come easily to me, like technology and and math,
Well, we've talked about this several times, just in the sense that when you know what it is and you're obedient and you give God the glory and you know where the gift comes from, not that it becomes easy, but it's this natural, you're just drawn to it naturally. And it's a puzzle piece that just fits. And so everything you just said makes total sense because you get it. You are giving God the glory. And so, of course, naturally it just works.
Yeah, and you get it. You have the artistic side to you, and you just can't help but do it. Yeah,
totally.
And it's from him, because most things from him are easy. They are natural. They're not forced. They're not hard,
Yeah.
So you just kind of flow with the Spirit, and wherever it takes you, you go.
Yeah.
And it's okay, I guess I'm going to do this. I guess I'm going to do that, and as long as it feels easy. And I always say too, even if it's not music or I don't make a living in that, change the desire of my heart, lead me to do something else, and it takes all the pressure off and makes life fun and enjoyable and not stressful, because the music business is not for the faint of heart.
It's not fun, and it's super stressful.
It's so stressful. And if I didn't know what I know now about Jesus, I probably would have given up years ago,
Yeah.
But instead it's I feel blessed that I'm just now 25 and been in this 8 or 9 years now. And I feel I'm just now getting going.
Yeah, totally. Well, so talk to us about what happened after high school. So you graduate, you wanted to hit this hard, you wanted to go for it. What did that look like? I know that we're going to have a lot of listeners who may or may not be in the country genre, but they are getting started. They have this desire to pursue whatever it is, music, art, film, straight out of high school. So talk to us about that transition and how you moved into the professional world.
Yeah. So I obviously grew up in and around here. And so naturally there were people around me who were in the business or, were songwriters and stuff like that. And so I just somehow got connected with a bunch of those people. And I didn't go to college. Like I said, math is not my strong suit. So I'm if I don't have to do any more math, I'm not doing any more. But, each to their own. I can always go,
Right, exactly.
But I met a guy who was setting me up with rights. It's funny, you go on all these blind dates as an artist and songwriter, because people just set you up with different people to write with. so that naturally started kind of happening. And I met a bunch of friends who went to Belmont, which was fun. And so we had kind of like a core group, and we all just started writing songs like all day and all night. And
so
one thing led to another, and it like hasn't stopped.
That's amazing. So you still keep in contact with your writes? I guess, is that what you call them? Your writers?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's
dates?
some people who have known like 10 years now, which is crazy. Because even in high school, I was like starting to write with them. And yeah, it's weird to look back and be like, wow, we have written this many songs over the past 10 years and we're still going.
Yeah. And you mentioned your age earlier, which was so sweet, because I didn't want to mention your age, but I just wanted to say, in your short 25 years so far, you have just done so much incredible work. I can think of examples, but I would like for you to give us some examples, and then also tell us, what are your favorite memories from your career? I know playing with your dad is probably one. But yeah, what are some of your favorite highlights, if you will, from your career so far?
Yeah. So I'll just start. One of the biggest things at 14, I was lucky enough to sing at the Ryman with Vince Gill. My dad was his keyboard player and wrote with Vince for years. So he's kind of like Uncle Vince.
Cute. I'm dead. That's so sweet.
I got to sing at the Ryman. And I remember
awesome.
I went and got a whole new outfit, got these like little wedges. And I was like, do not fall, do not fall.
If I'm going to fall ever again, but just not on this day.
Yeah. And somehow I made it through. And yeah. That was amazing. So I did that. That's like another goal. I'm like, now that I'm, doing this on my own.
Yeah.
I'd like to come back to you, Ryman stage.
Yeah.
And then at 17, I did American Idol, which was a good experience. Made it to Hollywood. And so, yeah.
You got the golden ticket. That was awesome.
Golden ticket.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, I don't know what else. Since then.
But
it's all been downhill since then.
No, but like seriously though, those are two huge, massive things, and you did them before you were 18 years old. So there's just so much in store for you, and it's just really exciting to just sit on the sidelines and just watch.
Yeah. Well, and I know that you have had opportunities to write with some pretty established songwriters, so I know that that's great. But you've also opened for some folks, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I love 90s country, and I got to open for not Martina. Oh my gosh, Jodee Messina.
There you go.
Jodee Messina.
Love her.
And that was like a highlight of my life as well.
No, but literally.
And you know what else I did? Two and a half years ago now, I got to open for Robin Ford, who is like this huge Americana jazz blues phenomenon guitar player guy.
Nice.
If you look him up.
Yeah.
Like everyone who is anyone. And so he hired me to play this whole, to sing this Americana record that he wrote. And there were a bunch of Bob Dylan songs on there. And it was so cool. It was one of the hardest, best things I've ever done in my life. Because I'm like a country gal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got that. But then jazz and Bob Dylan songs are a whole nother.
Yeah, they are. Thing. It's a whole other ball game.
Yeah, but we took it on the road, and we toured all over the Northeast, and it was. Looking back, I cannot believe I did it.
That is so cool. Well, I'm gonna not poor mom, but I'm gonna ask you a question that's gonna freak her out. But you opened for Amy Grant, right?
I did. Well, Vince and Amy, yes.
But what? Right, but like just the fact that you have a second, like you're 2 degrees.
Yeah, see, I'm a huge
Amy Grant fan.
I know, and Amy's the best. And I have to say, she is one of the most genuine people you will ever meet. Like, she is who she is, and like, she does not waver.
I love that.
Well, of all of the female vocalists on the planet, Amy's number 2. But Mackenzie Wasner's number 1.
There you go.
I'll tell Amy that.
Okay. All right. Well, so, obviously music is just such a huge part. You know people everywhere, especially in the Nashville area, that you've connected with, and that's just, an amazing thing for you as a gifted singer-songwriter. But we do talk about spiritual gifts, and so we know music's one of yours. Do you have anything else that you've kind of identified that, like when you and I last connected, you were in a Bible study. I think it was all women, and obviously pre-pandemic, but you've got other things that, whether you're an encourager, you light up a room when you walk in.
That's a gift.
Definitely a gift. But if there's, is there anything else you've identified?
Yeah, I feel like I have been put in situations, and I've thought about how to explain this, and it's going to sound crazy, but I'm really good with children. Like, I love kids, just naturally. I feel like I'm good with them, and I'm a good, I'm a helpful person, I like to say.
Yes.
But I've been put in situations, which is insane. I'm just going to come right out and say it. I was watching someone's kids for the first time, and the parents had to take the little girl to the doctors just for a checkup. Turns out she had cancer in her eye, and praise Jesus, they caught it just in time. But I'd never met these children, and yet I was put in this situation, and I was able to be with them. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like I was there at the right place at the right time, and I feel like the Lord always, like how did I have nothing that day? She called me the night before and was like, hey, can you come watch my other kids so I can take the little one to the doctor just for a checkup, and then that ends up happening. So I just feel like I've been put in the right place at the right time in certain moments. And that's just one. Another one was I was with an acquaintance from the gym, now turned really good friends' children, while she had to randomly have a heart transplant. Like, it's just crazy stuff like that. Wow. And it's like, my schedule is so crazy busy. Mm-hmm. And it's always like,
the time
he's like, Mackenzie, I'm going to need you here today. And I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
That's
I don't know if that makes sense, and I would not wish any of that upon anyone, obviously. But it's like, praise Jesus that they caught that in time. Praise Jesus that I was able to be there with her children, so she didn't have to worry.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's crazy stuff like that.
And I think that's awesome, because a lot of what we talk about on this podcast, I just got super fancy. A lot of what we talk about is using the gifts and talents in more of a vocation and like your work. So like music, things like that. But I think that it is so cool that you just gave that example, because it's so important that we use our talents and gifts in everyday life and to help other people. And so one of your gifts is clearly children, and that they are drawn to you and they feel comfortable, because those kids are going through something as well while their family members are dealing with these. And so for you to be able to use that gift to love on those kids during that time, even though that has nothing to do necessarily with your music career, I think that is so important. Thank you for sharing that, because it's such an important thing. It's so important.
Yeah, I know. And it's important to the parents. It's just, I don't know. And literally, but it's by the grace of God.
By the grace of God, totally.
Like, I feel like I'm calm in those situations. I know what to do, weirdly, naturally. And so, I don't know.
Yeah, so it sounds like peace might be another one of yours.
That's awesome.
That you're able to just kind of, you played the Ryman, so you obviously have some sort of like chill level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No chill level.
I got no chill level when it comes to performing, but I believe that you probably do, so that's really, really cool. Okay, so, another thing that we like to talk about on this show is what we are calling, we are not the first ones to coin this, but we're calling it train up a child. And so basically this idea, just from our example, how much my parents poured into me as an actor and as a writer, and, and how they poured into the boys, into their sports, into whatever it is that they wanted to pursue, so that their kids can figure out what their talents and gifts are, and then in turn make a career out of it, glorify God, help others through that or with that. And so I wanted to just talk to you about your parents and how they've obviously poured into you. Your dad had so many connections, and he didn't hide that from you. You know what I mean? He really opened as many doors for you as possible, and they supported you. And so I wanted to talk to you. We talked to a lot of parents about it.
Right.
But I would love to talk to you about it. And, you and I can talk about this from the receiving end, where we haven't necessarily given it to our children that we don't have yet, but but just from on the receiving end, how important was that, do you think, and instrumental do you think it was do you think it was in your career, just the support that you received from your parents?
Yeah, no, very important, because I will tell you, it is crazy what you can do when you know you are loved, when you know you are capable, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of a double meaning with our earthly parents and then our
Heavenly Father.
Yeah. But I think earthly parents are having good ones when you have good ones and then you see people who don't have very good ones, you know what I mean? It makes you thankful, because I don't think I would have really believed in myself enough to pursue this, or even thought I had a chance to pursue it. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So yeah. And like I said, I didn't go to college. Like, no matter what I've done, my parents have always just been like, yeah, whatever you want to do. Like, we're here to support you. You know what I mean? Like, we believe in you. My mom does not know anything about music. Like, didn't even know songwriters existed before she met my dad. Nothing. But every song I write is like the greatest thing ever. You know, it's just support. I don't know. You have good ones.
I've got good ones. I know. And
I love
we're
that.
blessed.
I love that you gave the example of going to college, because this is weird, because Jesse and Miles weren't always on the same baseball team, but their senior year they were. And so your mom and I taught college a lot. And she would be like, are you sure this isn't going to be the end of the world for her not to go to Belmont right now? I'm like, no, there's just times when you just think, I'm going to have faith. And, and Miles wanted to go into the military, and we talk for hours and hours and hours about this. And she loves you so much, and she just wants the best for you. And yeah, she was willing to just back you, whatever your call was, whatever your decision. And I loved hearing her process all of that.
I know. And she's always been like the best about any of that, like all of that, which is hilarious. But what it's made me do is like, she has so much grace for me that like, it makes me not want to go out and like make a stupid decision or like be wild,
Totally. Yeah. And I think not only was your mom a cheerleader, but I think she trusted the Lord.
Yes.
And she knew that the Lord was putting something on your heart and that you were listening. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that there's a piece about that where a parent can say, she's not going to go to college. Okay. But she can have faith and know that God is leading you, and that you're listening for that, and that you are following his will, or at least pursuing it and knocking on the doors and hoping and praying for God to open the right ones. And so, I would say that you probably felt a little bit of that when I left and did go to college, but I left and went 8.5 hours away. You knew that I was answering a call, and that I, for some reason, and we know now in hindsight why I needed to go there. And so anyway, I just think that's really, really cool. That your mom was so faithful.
Your mom's always supportive, but she is pretty chill. I can't imagine her getting too upset about anything.
So chill. I know. It's like, that's a huge deal, going 8 hours away or not going to college. And I don't know about you, but people like shamed me for not going to college. And I used to feel so guilty and so bad that I didn't go. And then, I don't know, a few years later, I finally just owned it.
Good.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm owning this. I can always go back. You can always come home.
Yeah. I mean, that's so true. And not only that, but like, not everybody needs to go to college to do what the Lord has called them to do.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Now, what about your husband? Is he pretty supportive?
And he goes to all your shows.
Oh my gosh, yes. That was like a huge deal. Like, whoever I married, like, needed to be okay with what I was doing, because, he's a physical therapist. So he went to college, he went to grad school, he graduated, he got a job. And so when we got together, he was like, so what's next? And I was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, we don't know. We just roll with the punches here in the biz.
Yeah.
So he was like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. But then he thought it was so cool that I could just roll with the punches and just
take the gigs as they come.
Came my way.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because I have done every single odds and ends type of job you could ever think of, for real. And I'm like, you know what? It's fine, because I get to do music right now,
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it won't be like that forever. But no, he's been so supportive. And so I just go with the flow in the music business,
right,
in my career, but which is funny because I'm such a planner too. But my
you're
job is like
a freelancer, you can't do that. Like, when you're an artist or a freelancer, you just have to take the jobs as they come. Yeah. It's funny that you said that. I love that you said that about how you just knew that when you married somebody, he was just going to have to get it. He just was going to have to get it. And I can't even tell you how many times I said that. And I was like, he's just going to have to get it. I'll explain it to him.
What else is there?
Yeah. So I think that's so cute.
Which it's funny too, because when we first started dating, I would be like, oh, well, this guy's coming over. I'm riding with this guy and this guy. And he'd be like, so just you and these guys. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. So that was kind of weird for him, because like I said earlier, it's like a blind date.
Yeah.
every writing session sometimes until you get to know the person. And so, I'm just thankful that we have like that trust too, because that could be a big issue too.
Yeah.
It's just so weird, this business, as you know.
Well, it sounds like God brought you the absolute right person who can trust you and
Well, I was thinking
build that career
for
with
both
you.
of you.
Yeah.
You guys both have, it sounds like very patient, grounded guys.
Yes,
So that's
absolutely.
good.
Very
Good-
cool.
Good for you guys.
Well, so as you just talked about being hard on yourself for not going to college. And I think as creatives, I think everybody has, to some degree, these tendencies of being hard on themselves. But creatives especially when it comes to our work, we are just, at least for me, I'm just the worst critic of myself.
Yes.
She said, that is me as well. So I just wanted to ask you about that and to for our listeners who are probably potentially creatives as well, what does that look like for you? How do you overcome that? And where do you see God in that as well? It's just as far as like seeing your work and trusting that it's good because it came from God.
Yeah, it's not gonna lie, it's been super hard at times, as I'm sure you know, and it's so easy to get down on yourself and to be so hard on yourself. But at the end of the day, it's rewarding whenever you can look back at something and you're like, okay, I don't know why, but that's pretty good. Like, out of all this stuff that I hate, I like that one. You know what I mean? And it's just like that little spark that keeps you going. And it's like, praise Jesus, or else, I would have quit. I would have stopped.
Totally.
Because I don't love hearing my own voice. And I don't believe people half the time when they say what a good voice I have. But then I'm like, hey, apparently I have a gift. Apparently you're still letting me do this. Apparently I like that song that I just wrote. Thank you for that. You know?
Yeah.
And so it's like a weird, like, love-hate relationship.
Totally. And in the work that, at least for me, that I find myself being so hard on, what I'm able to do is then look at my work later and just think about where I've come, how far I've grown. And I think that's really important. If you were getting it right from the beginning, where are you going to go? There's nowhere to go.
And honestly, even through this pandemic and everything, I feel like I have done more these past 2 months than I have in the past 5 years.
Wow.
Honestly. And it's like I was freaking out because I didn't write a ton. We did Zoom writes during it all, but it's not the same, you know? And so in the new year, things have really started to pick up and we're starting to write in person more and everything. So thankful for that. But it's I was concerned that I wouldn't have that spark again, or the creativity would have left me somehow, or I would have been super rusty, even though I've been doing it on my own.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's elevated even more. I feel like he's given me more ideas and more connections and more, and it just shows too that setbacks aren't a thing in his book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't downgrade. He's like, we're just going to keep going up.
Ugh.
And I think too, during the pandemic, if I'm being honest, there were times I was like, okay, I am done and done. There's no music business anymore. There's nothing.
There's
no venues.
The world was ending.
Totally.
So I don't know. I'm just thankful. I feel like I have a new burst of energy thanks to him.
Yeah. I like that attitude. I feel like we're obedient when we are thankful. When we are thankful for the gift,
and
or
just
thankful
listening
for the
to him,
yes.
what he has to say, and I've asked him, I'm like, hey, Jesus, take the wheel because I don't got it, And I think when we get at our wits' end, it's almost better because we're at our worst. He's at his best,
Amen.
being like, I got you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stop squeezing the pipes. Let me do what I'm supposed to be doing for you.
Good.
Well, and so you were talking about the last few months being really busy. You started doing voiceover work.
Yes.
Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm working with Leslie Satcher, who I've always loved and admired since I was little. I've known her forever, but now that I'm an adult, I get to actually work with her. And she's a huge believer too. Y'all should actually, I can hook you guys up.
Please hook us up.
She is amazing. I have no words for her. Anyway, so I'm working with her and her company, Old Bank Music, and they're coming out with this thing called Pod Plays. You can follow them on Instagram, Pod Plays Podcast.
Okay.
And they'll be launching super soon. But yeah, so what it is, it's voiceover work. It's voice plays. There's a an actual word, but I don't know what it is. But what it is I go in and I like get to play these characters and act them out, but it's just my voice. And so then we're writing songs for them too. So you'll be listening to the play, and then like a cool song will be inserted in the middle of it, and then you'll go on with the play. But it's so cool and fun because I've gotten to write those songs and sing those songs and also act in the plays.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's like a whole new world.
What a special, cool thing that God is doing to take your talent and your gift of music and your personality and your vivaciousness that you bring to the stage. And then all of that went away. And now you get to use, he is using you and all of those things in this totally new way. And it's still super satisfying to you. I'm sure it's super fun.
Yeah.
And he's getting the glory and the honor in that.
Awesome.
That is really cool. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a great thing because the podcast, they wanted them to be all family friendly, like some Christian based. So you can listen with your kids in the car and learn about Jesus and learn about,
How cool.
I cannot wait to check this out.
That is really cool. And you have to connect us because we would love.
Follow us on Instagram for sure.
Yeah. And you have to connect us so that we can chat with her.
Yes.
Because that would be really cool. So you are working on a new album. Is that part of what has just been so busy lately and things like that? Can you tell us, what can you tell us, I guess, about what you've got going on?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just so blessed and thankful that I've been writing with these amazing writers like that somehow want to write with me. And the songs we're writing are just cool. Like I said, I love 90s country music. And so I feel like I'm getting to do and say and sing and play what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I feel like I have surrounded myself before with people who maybe are not very encouraging or are like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do this. And I'm like, but that's who I am. Like, that's what I want to do. And it's like, if you can't express that as an artist, then what is the point, you know? And so I think that's why sometimes it can take so much time. And like I said, I released a single in 2020 and then I didn't even get to play it or do anything for a year. So that was that. But now it's like, okay, here we go again. And I feel like that time off, I kind of like needed. Because now I have so much to say and do weirdly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so exciting. It's exciting.
That is exciting.
God uses all things for his glory and our good. So,
yeah.
And he can,
so I finally feel like I'm like, okay, finally know who I am, know what I want to say. And it's just like coming out.
Yeah. Very cool. Well, why don't we play something?
Okay.
You want to show something?
Show a video clip.
Let's show a quick clip here of Mackenzie Wasner.
It's coming through the screen door from Mama's stove. It's right there in Daddy's arms. It's your best friend showing up. Hey girl, come with us. We got a town to take on. The years melt away like you never been away. You're reminded of things you don't want to change.
Okay, that was awesome.
You are so good.
Yeah, you sing beautifully. Thank you for letting us share that video. Where can our listeners find you online?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, my favorite, just at Mackenzie Wasner.
Okay.
And then I have a Facebook page, Mackenzie Wasner Music.
Good.
And then anywhere else, it's just my name.
And that's
Mackenzie Wasner.
And that's where you release an update on new music and things like that.
Yes. All the new music and stuff that I'm working on right now and writing and recording I will share with you on there.
Cool.
Well, I just want to make sure that we put a plug. You have a website too, right?
Oh, I do have a website, MackenzieWasnerMusic.com.
Perfect.
Okay. I haven't updated it because, it's updated, but I have no shows lined up.
Yeah.
Like I get told, they're like, do you want to play this show like a week before? And then you go play it the week before.
Right. So
Yeah.
websites, social media is way more helpful in that regard. But
Yes.
someday the world will open up.
I can update you way more.
Yeah,
but
totally.
you know what? Things are coming back, so
Yep.
I'll be working on the website.
Awesome. Well, Mackenzie, it is so good to see your face. Thank you so much for just being a light to us and to our listeners. We were so excited that you said yes to talking with us, and this has been so much. This has been so much fun.
Well, y'all are like the dynamic mother-daughter duo.
We try.
So y'all, everything you guys touch, I feel like turns to gold.
Oh
so.
my gosh, thank
You're
you.
sweet.
That is so sweet.
And I love that no matter how much time has passed, that we haven't seen you. Thank God for Facebook too.
Right.
Oh, true.
Totally.
Yes.
I love it. Well, girl, it was so good to see you.
Yep.
Take care. Have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you
Thank
later.
you. Love you
All right.
guys.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. For more information on Project Brickworks and how you can get involved, text BRICK to 55498 or visit us online at projectbrickworks.org. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, like our Facebook page, and if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and turn on notifications. If you're listening to this on a podcast, please subscribe and be encouraging with your rating. We love y'all. Be blessed, and we'll see you next time.